What's up, y'all? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content as well as all of my videos. Now, last night in the Footprint Center in Phoenix, the Pelicans, what looked to be like the Phoenix Suns, were getting ready to run away from the game. They were able to come back and defeat the Suns in their house 125 to 114. Um, you know, and now the series is tied, and and more importantly, they were able to just to get one at Phoenix, which was unheard of. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I called it a gentleman's sweep. I was wrong. The Pelicans actually got one. Now we'll see if any of these other teams are able to prove me wrong. Because right now, Atlanta uh, and some of the other teams are proving right now, like in Chicago, that they may get swept. Okay. Brandon Ingram was sensational. Nearly a triple double, had 37 points, 9 assists, and 11 rebounds. And a guy that really nobody talks about, but I think he's very important to this team, who I felt was very important to Memphis, and I felt like he should have stuck with Memphis. I felt like he was more important than Steven Adams was Valanciunas, man. 10 points but 13 rebounds. Uh, and CJ McCullough, of course, had 23 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds as well. He did his thing too. A good all around game. Uh, of course, Jones, he had 14 points and 3 assists, and the emergence of a guy that has a whole lot of potential just with his athleticism alone. Larry Nash Jr., man. I've always talked about I've always talked about Larry Nash Jr. and he's finally showing people what he brings to the table as well. For the Suns, what was crazy about this is that you had 7 guys in double figures, led by D Book. He had 31. Mikal Bridges, my favorite player on the Suns, had 19. DeAndre Ayton, not his best game, had 10 points, 9 rebounds. Cam Johnson had 11 and 4, and JaVale McGee off the bench had 10. And CP3 had 17 points and 14 assists. But it was not enough, okay? Now, do I believe that the Suns are in any type of trouble per se? Not 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 really. Not unless they have to crawl their way back into the series per se. Okay, because then the pressure, of course, is going to be on the Suns more so than the Pelicans. The Pelicans really don't have nothing to lose. I always say that. What's up with it, True Viking? I see you in the building, Queen. I always say that in terms of okay, which team has the most amount of pressure, and usually it's the team that got the future because they still have so many missing parts in order to build a championship pedigree type of team. Um, but I want to talk more about Brandon Ingram. Now I want to give a shout out to Ticket TV and how he's letting people know about Brandon Ingram. And I've always said this about Brandon Ingram, okay, and people can sit here and get in their emotions and get in their feelings about it, but I've always said that Brandon Ingram reminds me so much of Kevin Durant. Now I said that about Giannis if he was able to shoot, and because of his size or whatever. But the only thing that's different about Giannis or whatever was at that time his offensive package maybe wasn't as great as Kevin Durant, but his will to win was much more on fire. Well, Brandon Ingram's will to win is there, and he's showing people that whether or not I have Zion, whether or not uh, I got a new team constructed, or whether or not we're shorthanded, whether or not the odds are stacked against us, he's still going to come in and try to do everything possible to take the life out of the other team. I mean, think about it. The odds are stacked against them. They're playing the best team. They got the best record in the NBA, best road record in the NBA, and on top of that, we're the first ones to clinch home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs. And uh, at one point in time, had the number one defense, number one, number two defense in the league. I mean, to be able to do that, and look, I know it's just one win. We'll see how things go and how things play out throughout the rest of the series. I'm not here to say that it's over or anything like that, or they're in trouble or anything like that. But if Phoenix has to crawl their way back in the series, there's going to be pressure on them to get it done. And sometimes pressure can kind of break people. Now, uh, I'm pretty sure Monty Williams is going to make some adjustments. I'm pretty sure he's going to make some adjustments. Uh, this isn't something that is going to sit well with him. And the fact that they got beat by 11, what I'm saying, that says a lot. But it also goes to show you that on any given night, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Anybody can get got. It same thing happened with the team like Minnesota. Last night and I'm going to talk about that game too as well. you know, John Morant had to show people, okay, look, anybody can get got, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about the first game when Minnesota had just came in and stole one at their crib. You know, everybody got to realize that these guys are in the NBA for a reason. And I want to talk about something else too. I know this is a little off the subject. You know, look, I understand that you know one player that everybody is focused on, not gonna say his name, is not in the playoffs right now. But that doesn't make all these games boring. The games are not boring. Look, I realize the Lakers are not in there. You know, we understand that. We know y'all wanted to see some of the stars and well, really mainly one and one particular team in there. But you're gonna have to get over it. The league is going in a new direction. And on top of that, I can't stand when people say, "Oh, well, this game is boring or that game is boring," and da, 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 da. There's nothing boring about the game of basketball at all. To me, it's pretty interesting, and that goes to show you what type of society that we're living in. That people they pay attention to just they're one dimensional. No, I'm gonna watch every single game. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a Utah Jazz versus the versus the Dallas Mavericks, if it's the Atlanta Hawks, um, and the hold on one second, y'all. All right, sorry about that. Um, if it's if it's the Atlanta Hawks versus the Heat, I'm still gonna watch it. It doesn't make a difference to me. Like but look, I don't like people around. If you don't, I could tell right just by your conversation on whether or not if you truly care about the game of basketball or not, just by having a 5 minute conversation with you. On whether or not you really truly watch the game or you're in it for just the the entertainment factor in terms of just seeing one player or whatever. And then if that player is not there, or that particular team is that there, you don't really pay attention to anything else because there's so many other variables that go to the game of basketball besides just the entertainment factor and the social media factor. And people got to realize that, and look, there would be times. Look, I'm a Philadelphia 76ers fan, as y'all well know. But I don't just talk about them on this channel. You got guys and it's no disrespect to anybody. You know what I'm saying? That you got guys that only talk about just one goddamn team. And to me, I'm like, okay, well, or they talk about just one specific player. I'm not gonna do that here. I'm not gonna do that here. I'm more well rounded. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for the sport too as well. I'm well rounded. Now there might be some other sports that I might not know as much as the other one or whatever, but you best believe that we're gonna cover it here. But I know I'm getting off the point, but I wish people would stop saying that. These games are boring and all this other stuff. Okay, well, go call the Lakers front office, okay, and go tell them what to do and how to run the team, and you go in there and you go make the change, okay. You go make the change, or how about better yet, you go call Adam Silver and go tell him that you're going to take his job so that you could go ahead and you could brand the NBA better. You know, I mean, the product is out there, and it's either you consume it or you don't consume it. And a lot of people, they want to see good competitive games. A lot of people want to see parity. I'm one of them. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh man, like I'm ecstatic about the Lakers being out and all this other stuff. Look, if they out, they out. You know what I'm saying? If we would have been out, look, I still would have been covering the games. Just like if the Philadelphia 76ers get eliminated, guess what? I'm still going to talk about games. I still got so much to talk about. And see, that's what separates you. But you got some guys, on here and outside of YouTube or whatever. Oh well, man, I'm not gonna watch the game if my team ain't in it and stuff like that. Well, yeah, man, you don't care about no game of basketball. You know what I'm saying? You just care about one player, and that really, I'm gonna be honest with you. Some people might disagree, man. That defines who you are, really, to a certain degree. They want to pay attention to one. It's just like with football. Oh man, well I only watch the Cowboys. That's it. Well, well, damn. I mean, don't you know that there's other teams out there? There's other players out there. It makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me at all, whatsoever. But I like Brandon Ingram, man. I've always liked him at Duke. Uh, of course they're gonna come with this. Oh yeah, well he needs to gain a little bit more weight. He's gained. a little bit more, more weight or whatever. But my thing is this though, like what they say about Kevin Durant and all this, being skinny and stuff like that. He's too skinny to this and stuff. Look, they got to the league by being skinny. Okay, they're there now, so that's not an excuse. If you can score, you can score. Whether you uh big and a little bit bulky per se, like a LeBron, or whether you're as skinny as a KD. It doesn't matter. Skill set is skill set. And I think people oftentimes they get that misconstrued. They think that just because a guy is super skinny, he can't he won't be able to reach a certain type of potential, and that's not true. That's not true. That's not the truth at all. But yeah, man, we'll see how the Pelicans do. Uh, going forward, it's going to be interesting to see what Willie Green does. I've always respected Willie Green, and he's definitely a coach on the come up. I think he needs to be looked at, not like no as no coach of the year or anything like that, but a coach that is he's showing how he could develop young talent, and it's interesting too because the brother Too Raw for TV had brought this up too. He had talked about Mark Jackson in terms of developing young talent. Hey, Willie Green is showing that too as well. You know what I'm saying? Because he's got and so is I'm a Udoka. Those guys right there are showing how they can develop young talent and not only develop them but bring the best out of those guys too. Because you gotta remember, even though Brandon Ingram, he might have had the skill set, might have had the talent and everything like that. But some coaches they'll look at it like, okay, yeah, you have the skill set, you have the talent, but there's something missing. Same thing with Jason Kidd. Same thing with Jason Kidd. Those guys right there. Okay, like when we mention uh, a guy like Willie Green, I'm a Udoka, Jason Kidd, uh, even Monty Williams. These guys are good at developing young talent. Taylor Jenkins is starting to show that too. Taylor Jenkins is showing that, and nobody's even talking about Taylor Jenkins now. The league is in terms of who may or may not get Coach of the Year, but they're not anybody. They're mentioning guys like Monty Williams, which I've advocated for Monty Williams to get Coach of the Year. And at one point they were mentioning Bickerstaff, but you know he didn't really he didn't produce. What's up with it, Celtics Nation? Haven't seen you in a minute, man. What's up with it though? So it's about development of of young talent, you know, and they got definitely something brewing over there in New Orleans. And listen, if they pull the unthinkable, right? If they pull the unthinkable, if Phoenix pulls the unthinkable and actually beats the Phoenix Suns, I guarantee you they're gonna do everything that they can to try to get Zion Williamson out of there. Uh, and I know some people may disagree, but they're doing everything without Zion. People have gotten on TV and broadcasters have gotten on TV and basically said, okay, I forget who it was that asked, why the hell are you not playing? Everybody has asked Zion, of course they've been on Kawhi, why isn't he playing, stuff like that, and when you have uh, doctor's orders that have cleared you and everything like that, people are going to question, why aren't you playing? And that's the biggest thing about Zion. I know people like the entertainment factor about Zion and everything like that, but Zion is most likely going to end up being one of those players if he keeps going down the road that he's going. He's going to be one of those type of players that what could have been. I'm just being honest with you. Now, do I want that for him? Absolutely not. I think it's a crying shame that a guy that talented, that a guy with that possible marketability is just sitting. But see, that's what I mentioned before. He's part of the reason why the CBA is going to raise the collective bargaining agreement are raising these type of questions, and it's going to be settled. You know, um, but I know a lot of people don't they want to see one team. Guys are I think the most entertaining game right now to people, not I mean just in other people's opinion, but not in my opinion. I think all of them are entertainment. I think all of them have entertainment factor. But the most entertaining one that people want to see are the Nets and the Celtics. You know, and I think it has to do with the I would say the edge of the seat value that it brings because people are anxious to see if Boston is going to pull it off, and if Boston is going to be able to actually win and go exceed expectations and everything because a lot of people have Boston still losing the series. Unfortunately, I don't. I think Boston is going to pull the unthinkable. A lot of people, everybody's talking about 7 games. I know the brother Lou the writer. Um, a shout out to him, but I disagree with Lou the writer that it's not going to go 7 games. You know, listen, I'm a Udoka man. I gotta talk about this too. Listen, I like Steve Nash. I think Steve Nash for his short period of time that he's been in, he's got a good win percentage as a coach, right? Still got some work to do, but I'm a Udoka in the short period of time and what he's done. I'm not gonna say he's single handedly done everything because of course, the players got to go out there and they still got to do work and everything. But I'm a Udoka man. I mean, he's bringing, like I said before, he's bringing something out of all these guys that hasn't been brought out before. And it's no disrespect to a guy like Brad Stevens. I think he's good, but he he's more fit for like a front office position, which he's showing that right now, and he's more fit for the college level. Ama Udoka he's proven that he's a professional coach, and he can coach at the professional level. So I take all of those things into consideration, and getting back to my point, the reason why I feel like Boston is gonna win. Now look, hey, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, hey, like just like I thought that this series was over. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought this series was over. Now, I wasn't gonna cut the TV off or anything like that, but I thought that this series was over. I was wrong. Now I know about the Atlanta Hawks and the Heat. The Heat just have just too much for them. I mean, and I'm gonna talk about the Heat too as well. I'm gonna get on that too. Um, the the 40-point explosion by Jimmy Butler and everything that the Heat really want it right now. They're proving that they're a team that can not only play offense, they can play defense, and more importantly, they're deep as well too. They're deep as well too, and I think that people have forgotten about the Heat. I haven't forgotten about the Heat. I've mentioned them. Now, I don't believe that, like I think somebody was saying that PJ Tucker should have been, a candidate for defensive player of the year. Nah, and if you're gonna say that, then you might as well you got to mention Bam because Bam has done a tremendous job on the defensive end, in which he doesn't get any credit for. Him and him and him and Jaren Jackson Jr. Those are guys that are just slept on defense. And Jaren Jackson Jr. was at one point, he was leading the league in blocks. You know, I think, and last night you saw Jaren Jackson. We're gonna cover all of these games. I'm gonna talk about all of them. I'm gonna talk about all of them. People don't want to talk about it. People don't want to talk about they don't want to talk about the Atlanta Hawks. They don't want to talk. Man, I want to talk about my team. They don't want to talk about the Warriors and all this other stuff. Man, open your motherfucking mind up. You know what I'm saying? Open up your mind. That's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all listen. You could tell by people conversation that they not well rounded. I could tell 5 minutes within the conversation too, also, on whether or not you would even know how to keep a conversation with like a female, or I'm talking about with from a guy's end, or even a female too. If she could even keep a conversation with a man. That's what I was talking about yesterday, about knowing your self worth. You know, everybody always want to talk about one team, or they want to get on they channel and just bash one player. Man, that shit get boring, and I don't like it. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, I say whatever needs to be said or whatever. But what's the end game? What's the end game? Now I am going to talk about Jokic. I have not forgot about Jokic. Look, I give Jokic his credit. You know, uh, a lot of people don't feel like he's an MVP. I do feel like for the regular season, he was an MVP, but it, excuse me, in the playoffs, he's getting exposed. He's really getting exposed, and several people have pointed that out. Look, I'm able to be objective. Yes, I know Jokic is um, he's a future Hall of Famer and everything like that. I know he's gotten to the Western Conference Finals and stuff like that. But if I'm gonna hold the heat and I'm gonna hold the smoke for Jokic, I mean for Embiid, which Embiid has he's played phenomenal in this series or whatever, and that's what he's supposed to do. We're supposed to dominate. We're supposed to dominate a team that doesn't have Scotty Barnes and they're undersized. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do that. Even if James Harden is being inefficient, like I've been talking about time and time again, you know, we supposed to do that. Skip Bayless talking about some. Oh yeah, well, who are they going to use? Embiid and Maxi? Yes, yes. Maxi has entertainment factor. Maxi has the type of appeal to, like, okay, you look at that guy, he truly loves the game. But you want to get on here, you're finally talking about, like Raw was saying, you're finally talking about James Harden. Okay, because you don't have nothing to talk about. The only thing you want to talk about is either the Lakers or LeBron, of course, what they're gonna do and everything. Oh well, we don't have nothing. We don't have another guy to bash. Okay, so now you want to start talking about Harden. But we've been telling you this time and time again. No, you should have been talking about Harden a long ass time ago. Never mind all the, never mind the MVP, never mind all that other stuff. No, you should have been seeing this a long time ago. You're talking about, oh, he looks old. Shoot, we've been knowing that. He's been slowing down. Okay. Oh, he looks like condition. Shoot, we've been knowing that. He's shooting inefficient and all this other stuff. We've been knowing that. But no, you want to go here. You want to go to us. You want to go to the, some of the big hitters, in the LDBC community, and you want to try to take their content. That's what you try to do because you don't have nothing to go on. That's what you're trying to do. We've been telling you about James Harden. Everybody has been telling you about James Harden. Everybody. But now you're starting to come to the realization about this guy. I can almost guarantee you that if it was just James Harden by himself, wouldn't be getting it done. He wouldn't be getting it done. That's what I'm saying. He always needs somebody else. Always needs somebody else. It doesn't matter. And people can't handle that. What's up with it, Stephen Green? I see you in the building. You know, Embiid is, yes. Is he playing phenomenal? Yes, he's playing phenomenal. But that's what you're supposed to do. But we got to see what's going to happen when you play a swarming defense like a Milwaukee Bucks. When you play a swarming defense like a Boston Celtics. When you play a swarming defense like the Miami Heat. Let's see how that goes. And then we could talk about all this, MVP, same sentences, Wilt Chamberlain, same sentences, Shaquille O'Neal, same sentences, goddamn David Robinson, some of these other greats. I don't want to hear about none of that. See, everybody's just satisfied with being mediocre, but the guys that I conversate with and the guys that I talk to or whatever, we're not satisfied with mediocre. We're not satisfied with that type of stuff. What's up with it, Adrian? I see you in the building. We're not satisfied with mediocre. And nice job, Lakers. Well, well, I mean, look, Lou, we're moving on about that, man. And I, I don't want to make every topic about that guy. I don't want to make every topic about that guy. You understand, Lou? Like, this is not the LeBron Den basketball community, okay? That's not what it is. This is the Lions Den basketball community, okay, and boxing community. Okay, I don't want to make him an everyday topic of conversation, but I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying. Listen, there was a lot of guys that left LeBron or whatever, and then guess what? They went to other places. Now their games are flourishing. I had always said, listen, go back digging, do your research, whatever. Okay. I have always rode for Brandon Ingram. People be like, "Oh, you're capping." People be like, "Oh man, you don't know what you're talking about. Brandon Ingram ain't this and he ain't that. He's too skinny. He's this and he's that." They used to say the same shit about Kyle Kuzma because I would talk about them and their branded full potential and everything. And now you're starting to just now see it. Oh, I was wrong about Brandon Ingram and stuff like that. No, he could always score. He could always score. Do you not realize that this guy came out as a freshman at Duke? You know, well, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, Stephen. You know, listen, nothing but the best. Okay, nothing but the best. And if you happen to give up, I mean, if you happen to not succeed, hey, go at it again. I mean, but a lot of these guys that are in the league now, they're like a James Harden. He's only happy with achieving good statistical outputs and stuff like that, but don't want to win. Look, I don't listen. I'm gonna say this too. When it comes to like poor shooting, there have been lots of players like for instance with Mike. I mentioned this the other day with Lou and with Wilt Strong. Shout out to Wilt Strong. Michael Jordan shot horrible in two of those games against the Supersonics, right? But he did other things, and I mean, he was even shooting. He even shot like 20% one game. Shot horrible. But when your shot is not going, it was like the last game. Shot horrible. But when your shot is not going, you got to be able to do other things. That's why, like with Kobe Bryant, with T Mac and everything. T Mac had came out on record and basically said that the most skilled player that he ever played against was Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, like you would see some games, you'd be like, damn, what the fuck is Kobe doing on offense? But okay, wait a minute. When you would look at him on the defensive end, you'll be like, well, shoot, I can't get mad at the guy because this guy is getting up under screens. This guy is guarding multiple guys. This guy is running in transition. This guy is is you know anticipating the steal. He's playing the passing lane. He's getting in there. He's boxing out too as well. He's doing so many other things instead of just going down and then next thing you know, calling for the ball. Yeah, they have a bright future without Zion. You're adding Zion, it's a big old headache. It's gonna mess up what they have. I'm just being honest with you. You got to get Zion up out of there. You got to get Zion up out of there. I know some people are gonna disagree with me. Look, I don't care. Okay, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you got to get Zion up out of there. Um, you don't want to jump on a train now. You see, what you're trying to do is you're trying to jump on a train now when these guys are winning and they're winning without you. And they made it to the playoffs without you. Yeah, he's not exactly, Adrian. He's not committed. You need you need commitment, you need dedication. Um, you're sitting out there, you're doing dunks that only very few people in this world could pull off. Very few people your size can pull off. And you can't go out there and play 20 minutes or whatever. Okay, they're talking about, even, and I hate to say it, but I've said it before. You gotta question the heart of Zion. You know why? Because now Ben Simmons is even working to get back into the flow of things and everything, and he's having back issues. And his one could argue that his was just as major because he had to get epidural shots. He gonna end being the next Oliver man, eat himself out of the NBA. I hope not. I hope not, Lou. But see, check this out. Hey, Oliver Miller, for as big as he was, guess what, Lou? He was still running up and down the court. He was still running up and down the court. Guys like him and tractor trailer, they were still running. He still played. Oliver Miller was playing, still playing. He was still playing. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to the homie Lou the Rider Sports. Trying to get Lou up, man. Lou, make sure you drop your link. But I mean, look, I'm I'm gonna tell you like this, okay? I don't even make being big an excuse. I don't make it no excuse. I don't make it no excuse because you could be big and still get up and down the floor. At least you trying. But with Zion, I'm not gonna sit here and act like Zion didn't try to because I think his second year he tried to come in more chiseled and everything. You know, you saw a difference in his body and everything. But you got to keep at it. And you can't sit there just because you felt like the season was a failure. Then you didn't do what you wanted to do or whatever. Then you have mental mental lapses. Can't do that. But I appreciate everybody pulling up. Man, Lou, make sure you drop your link, man, so that everybody can go to your channel. I don't see it in there. But make sure y'all like the video, share, subscribe, hit the notifications. Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, man. I'm gonna get at you later.